Nestor Popovich, and I chair the 75th Anniversary Commemoration Committee in Chicago for the Ukrainian Genocide Holodomor. We plan to have 3 more events, one in September, one in October, and one in November. In November being the conclusion of the commemoration ceremonies with a hierarchical panachida, if you will.
Pavlo Bandrievsky, President of the Ukrainian Congress Committee, Illinois Division.
And you were involved in coordinating today's event?
I played a very small part on the organizing committee. We had 3 ladies that really ran pretty much the entire program, and I was there for moral support and anything else that we could do to help them put this wonderful event together to commemorate the murder of the 10 million Ukrainians.
And as Ukrainians that live in Illinois, why is it important for us to try to do public programs like this to make others aware of what happened in Ukraine 75 years ago?
Well, I think today's program in particular was extremely important because it was done in downtown Chicago. It was done to make the American public aware of this horrific event that the Russians perpetrated against the Ukrainian nation in 1932 and 33. And by doing it in downtown Chicago here at Millennium Park, we were able to distribute literature, hand out information, and have broader media coverage. Television, radio, and news representatives were here, and they were, I'm sure, going to get the word out about this terrible event. The memory of those people who, because of the Ukrainian nationality, suffered in tragedy, and I personally lost uncles and aunts as well. On my mother's side, she came from a large family, and unfortunately not all of them were able to survive the genocide. We must never forget the memory of those innocent victims, men, women, children, who suffered simply because of their nationality and their refusal to submit to the Russian edicts dictated out of Moscow. And we will always honor them, and we will always have different events in order to commemorate their spirit.
And speaking of events, is the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America Illinois Division planning any other events this year in commemoration of the 75th anniversary?
Our membership is part of the 75th Anniversary Committee. We're taking a very active role in that particular committee, and we have a number of events which are scheduled to be held throughout the year, and specifically in September, October, and November. There will be a series of events, including opening of an exhibit, a conference of historics and specialists that are familiar with the details of the Ukrainian genocide, and of course a Requiem Mass that we're planning on having as well.
My name is Lida Tkachuk.
And you're with which committee?
I'm on the Chicago Committee for the commemoration of the 75th anniversary of the genocide in Ukraine, 1932-33.
And where did this torch idea come from?
The torch idea, I don't know if it was UKK, but it started up in Australia. That's where the torch was made, and it's supposed to travel through 33 countries. It's been to Australia, parts of Canada, West Coast, US, and it came to us from Salt Lake City.
And from Chicago, where is the torch going?
It's going to Detroit, it's going to Cleveland. I know that it's supposed to be at a Plast Sviatovisne, and the children, the plastonaires, are supposed to take part. And also, I think it's supposed to be at Sum's Sviatovisne as well.
And then from America, do you know where it's going?
I think it's going back to Canada.
Okay, and ultimately in November, where is this torch going to wind up?
And in November, it's coming to Ukraine, to Kyiv.
And you're with the Ukrainian Genocide Famine Foundation?
Yes, I am. I am part of the program director group.
Okay. And why do you feel that it's important for children in the United States to learn about the Ukrainian genocide?
In order for us to be a member of the social group of nations all over the world, we have to understand the history of what has occurred previously to this, and so we can then have a contextual understanding of what history is and not to allow to repeat it again. And the only way that can be done is that the students in high schools come to understand where the event took place, why it took place, and put it into a proper historical perspective.
And is it important for us as Americans to continue to educate our own Ukrainian children about this genocide?
I think it is, because it's a continuation of our culture. It's a continuation of our history. If the Ukrainian children and the Ukrainian community does not understand or truly know about the Ukrainian genocide famine, then how can we think that the other ethnic groups or the other United States citizens should be made to understand? We should do it at home first and then propagate from within.
State Representative John Fritchie, Democrat from the 11th District. We've had legislation on the books that would require Illinois students to learn about the Holocaust for a long time. But what these students were not learning were about the number of other tragedies that have happened throughout history. First and foremost, the Ukrainian famine genocide. So we changed the law 2 years ago to make sure that students throughout Illinois will learn about what's happened in our past, what's happening in current events, so we can hopefully keep it from happening in the future.
And what other genocides are included in that bill?
We deal with the tragedy in Darfur, in Bosnia, in Cambodia. Unfortunately, time after time, we've seen these things happen around the world. Society always says it will never happen again, yet we find it still being a current event issue. And we really need to take the issue of Holocaust and genocide and take it from current events and put it into the history books. We have few communities like the Ukrainian community that still have the strength in being able to pass on not only their lessons but the culture. And what we really need to make sure is, as new people start to come from Ukraine to the United States, that they bring the traditions with them, they bring the history with them to make sure that the lessons from the past get passed on to future generations.
My name is Nicholas Mishenko. I'm president of Ukrainian Genocide Foundation here, based in Chicago.
And do you have a website?
Yes, we do have a website, which is www.ukrainiangenocide.com.
And what can we find on that website that can be used as a reference for students and teachers?
Well, we have curriculum guide on a website, and we also have all materials pertaining to the genocide. We have some books listed, and everything that pertains to genocide you can find in our website.
And what does the foundation normally do each year in commemoration of the Ukrainian genocide?
Well, we commemorate yearly commemoration at different locations each year at different churches. And we also have genocide monument at Bloomingdale where we do memorial services yearly.
And the foundation also goes into public schools and gives presentations on the Ukrainian genocide?
Yes, we do. We do presentations to the students as well as to the teachers. Teachers we have seminars for teachers that we give, and also we distribute materials for teaching guides and films related to genocide.